Kirk, well, thanks for having us. Looking forward to this weekend. Hopefully the weather stays nice and doesn't rain too much. But looking forward to a great regional. We were here in I think 2019. I know it'll be a first class, well run regional. Arkansas does it right. Great fans, great support, even for the games their team isn't playing. And looking forward for our guys to experience it.
All right, questions?
This is for both guys. Maybe Braden could take it first, then call. I know you guys obviously are coming in here real hot. I think you've won 11 or 12 or something like that. Just how well do you think y'all are playing coming in, and what are your expectations for the regional? Obviously, Arkansas is a home team, but we know road teams, often win regionals.
Right. I think that we're just, excited to be here. We're excited to, keep playing the way we've been playing, take it day by day, pitch by pitch. And we're just looking forward to everyone going out there having a good time, going out there and trying to win the game.
And just to add on that, I think every aspect of the team's, running good right now. And I think we are playing some of our best baseball. So, obviously our goal is just to keep that rolling into this regional.
My name's Brian Peterson. I'm with AZ Desert Swarm. Cole, you're from Chandler, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any contact with Arizona during the recruiting process? Was that a school that you were looking at all?
It was definitely out there. Obviously, being an Arizona school, being local from there, it was definitely on my mind. I wouldn't say I had a ton of contact with them, but they were definitely on the list.
Do you have people that you played against during high school?
Yeah, I know some people on the team.
Does that in any way impact how you're preparing for this, that you have some knowledge of some of these guys?
I wouldn't necessarily say it changes how I prepare, but I just think it's more of a just kind of a little fun opportunity to play against some guys I've played against before, and then obviously playing against home team, local team. That's always a little more fun. So I'm excited.
For both of you, obviously you get a chance to play Arkansas earlier in the year. Just talk a little bit about what you saw out of them then, and maybe what you've seen on film since then.
We're going in with the same expectations. Arkansas is a really good team. We're going out there, just excited to play them. We're, just excited to, be in their regional. Everything about this is gonna be really fun. We're all looking forward to being out here and playing.
Obviously Arkansas is a great team, talent wise, coach wise too. But I think, we're still playing baseball. The game doesn't change. So just stick with the same preparation and, pitch by pitch is how we'll play the game.
Well, I think when y'all played Arkansas, you came out of the bullpen through like 4 1/3, something like that. And looking at the stats, that was only one of your 2 bullpen appearances this year. Just what was the season like? How did you kind of evolve into a starter? Did that game maybe help propel you into a starting role?
I think that game definitely helped because that was my first outing in college baseball, and obviously coming in facing Arkansas first out, and that's kind of, it's a tough thing to do. And I think it really prepared me for later on in the road, just kind of with some struggles I had and just how college baseball runs. So, I mean, it was a exciting outing, really fun. And then I feel like I just kind of worked my way into the starting rotation. So that outing definitely helped me.
Or
I believe that was the plan. Yes.
okay. Great breaking news here. I guess just how do you feel about how you're pitching and going against Arizona's lineup?
Feel great. Obviously, another great opportunity. Really excited for it. This will be my first postseason regional stuff, so I've heard it's really fun. Arkansas Regional, definitely a fun place to play at. So I'm just excited for the team. Think we're playing great baseball, so just keep it rolling.
All right, fellas. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, I was trying to get out of here. Thanks.
Questions for Coach? Matt, you want to get us going?
Coach, welcome to Fayetteville.
Thank you.
I think you were here as a pitching coach when TCU came here in 19. Is there any familiarity since you were here?
Well, the stadium's grown a little bit down the right field line, and they switched dugout, so that'll be different. Being the home team, being in the third base or the first base dugout, that's different. But no, it's I've enjoyed my time here. It's the last 2 times I've been here, it's been my wife's birthday on June 5th today. So we've spent two 2 birthdays of hers in Fayetteville. So there's some pretty good restaurants we've found out, and we're going to take her tonight.
How well do you know Matt Hobbs at Arkansas? And what are your thoughts on just the pitching coaches in this regional? Because you all have had some pretty good success.
Yeah, no, Hobbsy and I go back, a long time, ever since I got to TCU. Being recruiting coordinators, him and I were on the road a bunch together, and I got to know him through Tony Vitello, actually, because Tony and Matt were buddies, and he introduced me, and we've become, friends ever since. And, obviously, his track record speaks for itself, a phenomenal pitching coach. And I think, Rusty Filter at Santa Clara, and then also, with Dave Lawn at Arizona. So, you have 4 pitching coaches that have, like you said, have been around the game a long time and had success. And that's probably one of the main reasons that everybody's probably in the regional.
Coached out in California. I mean, how much have your paths crossed through recruiting or playing against some of those others?
Yeah, quite a bit. I think, what the West Coast tree, in terms of the coaching community is pretty big. So, like you said, we've all been out on the West Coast quite a bit. And, it's fun. Like baseball, it's a big little game. Like baseball is a huge game, but it's a little circle in terms of the coaching community. So, having those other 3 guys, and Chip Hale too, another guy that's, a West Coast guy that grew up in California. So it's definitely got a West Coast flavor to it for sure.
Really hot coming in. Just how do you feel about how the team's playing and your shot to win the regional?
Yeah, I mean, like our guys said, we're excited about it. We are playing our best baseball right now, that's what you want to do. You don't want to play your best baseball at the beginning of the year. You want to play it at the end. And they've done a really good job of persevering and going through some difficult times through the middle stretch of the season and come out the other end of it confident and ready to play good baseball. And I think, that's fun, because any team that's in a regional is either good or they're really hot or they're both. And usually the team that's both is one that's going to win the regional. So I think any team in this regional can win it.
What's your take on Arizona? They kind of had to sweat it out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they were the last. I think you guys were the last regional announced.
Yeah.
What's your take on TCU?
On Arizona, I think, they were the last one that, like you said, it was the Fayetteville Regional was the last one announced. So I know they were on pins and needles over there, but they're in and they can really swing it, and they have good arms, and so they're going to be well coached. It's going to very tough. Obviously, we're throwing Cole. I respect Chip and all those guys over there. And, I think it's a really good baseball club that we're going to have to play our best baseball to beat them. And that's kind of with any team, but especially them. They're going to be very, very offensive, and we got to play really good baseball to beat them.
There's some various metrics that say this is the toughest regional or one of the toughest 2. I don't know if your scouting has gone with the other teams yet, but what do you feel about maybe the overall strength here?
Sure. I mean, Santa Clara, probably one of the best pitching staffs in postseason play. Rusty's done a great job over there. We played them last year at our place to end the season. And so we have some familiarity with him and their club. And Arkansas is the 3 national seed, getting on paper, like you said, maybe one of the toughest regionals. I think on paper, the game's not played on paper. So it comes down to playing good baseball. Who's gonna play the 3 areas of the game, offense, defense, and pitching. Who's going to be the most consistent in those 3 areas for the next 3 days is probably going to be the team that comes out.
Well, in the middle of the year, what was going on, basically, and then what did you do to get out of it?
Well, we weren't pitching well, and it starts with starting pitching. If you don't pitch well and get good starting pitching, your offense doesn't have a chance to breathe, and they play catch up. And we like to run the bases. And when you're down 3 or 4 or 5 runs early in games, you're probably not going to be stealing as many bases or as aggressive. And it kind of takes a little bit of what we do away. So we kind of, when Klecker and Louis Rodriguez and Sam Stoutenborough, they kind of righted the ship in terms of getting us off to better starts. And then the bullpen kind of having solidified roles, as the season went on. There's a lot of new, I think almost 50 or 52% of our innings this year have come from freshmen. So our starting shortstop's a freshman, our starting catcher's a freshman. So when you have kind of some of that youth, there is a little bit of growing pains, and we played a really, really difficult schedule. to start the year. And then we got right into conference play. So there really wasn't a time to take a breath. And for our guys I think they got beat down just a little bit. But ultimately, you're only as good as your next day starting pitcher. And I think it comes down to we just got more consistent starting pitching.
I was going to ask, was already taken, but did you have any, did you cross paths with Chip at all during your playing career?
Not really. He actually, when I retired, I think he was with Arizona, and then we came over with Oakland. And I was already gone playing with Oakland. So it didn't really cross paths in professional baseball. I think he was a manager at one point of a AA team that I pitched against. Yeah.
Tucson.
Yeah, I think we might have crossed paths one time there, but I know him very well just from like the baseball community, both professional and college.
When you first got into the college game and you had been just in the pros, was there a bit of a learning curve of the differences as far as like player development, or was that maybe the most similar part?
No, I think, between professional baseball and college baseball, the difference is you don't have a long enough season to have a bad 10 games. Like if you have a bad 10 games in college baseball, you might not make a regional. You probably won't host. Where in professional baseball, you have a bad 10 games, you got 152 to figure it out, and you're going to play the next day. Where in college baseball, you have a bad week or 2 weeks, that's 7-8 games, and it might ruin your season. So I think the ultimate difference, but that's why I think there's not that many guys that play professionally in the big leagues that come back and coach, just because I think there is a big difference between college and development in college baseball. There's a lot more off the field things in college baseball in terms of getting guys, on their own for the first time, away from family, classes, their social life, just their overall well-being. Where in professional baseball, you just show up and you manage them and you try to win the game. Where that's probably less than a quarter of what you're trying to do here in college is you're trying to help raise a young man that, mom and dad turned him over to you. And now it's your responsibility to kind of take the reign and take over for what mom and dad did. Where in professional baseball, it's a little bit more cutthroat. And so there's not as much of that. So yeah, there is a big difference between pro and college for sure.
Thank you.
You bet.
Question from Zoom. Charles, go ahead.
Coach, do you have any status updates on Logan, Maxwell, and Luis Rodriguez?
Yeah, so Logan's he's basically back to full health. So Logan's been dealing with some hamstring injuries his whole career, injuries in general. So, but we're feeling confident that he's fully healthy. Louis not going to be available this weekend or the rest of the postseason. Nothing surgery wise. It's just a matter of looking into the future for him and not putting him at risk. And we feel like, shutting him down at this point in the season, it was a difficult decision. I know it's tough on Louis, but we decided to do that so that we don't injure him any more than he is. So he's not going to be available the rest of the postseason.
Coach, appreciate your time.
You bet. Thanks, guys.